podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, June 20th, 2021. This is episode 1807. If you enjoy the Tech Guy podcast, I hope you will join Club TWiT, a great way to support all of our TWiT podcasts. Just $7 a month. You get ad-free versions of this show and all the shows we do, audio and video. You get access to our great Discord server. Lots of fun in there. Thousands of other Club TWiT members, and the conversation is just fantastic. And of course, you also get the TWiT Plus feed, including our new Tech Break show, breaking news whenever it happens. All of that, just $7 a month. Find out more at twit.tv/clubtwit, and thanks. Now, enjoy the show. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to say hello to all our friends as we talk about tech, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography. What else? Home theater, digital photography, smartphones, yes, smartwatches. Just thinking what we might talk about today. Printers, yes. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still reach me, but you have to use Skype or something like that. 8888 Ask Leo, website techguylabs.com. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you called your dad if you're a child. Happy summer solstice for those of us in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, happy, what did they call it? Wesley, what do you call it? Winter solstice? The sun is at its highest and northernmost point in the sky. It's also the longest day of the year today, right? So we have that to celebrate. But really, more importantly, the Father's Day or the solstice, much more important. Tomorrow's Prime Day. That's what really matters, isn't it? Amazon Prime Days, really, tomorrow and the next day. And, you know, it's funny. They're really, it's just a blatant attempt to turn Black Friday into another day. Let's do it twice a year. And, of course, immediately Walmart and everybody else says, oh, we got that too. We could do that too. And they all do the same days. I will be sitting this one out, as I always do. You know who doesn't get to sit it out? It's hard for the folks who run the tech blogs. They go crazy for the next couple of days. Every one of them has, an Amazon Prime page where you find the best deals. You know, I like the Wirecutter. That's the New York Times product review site because they take a look at whether it's a good deal or not. You know, is that a good deal, or is that just, Amazon hyping something? Because not everything on Prime Day is a good deal, right? There's Thrillist? There's so many different sites that not Thrillist, I can't remember now, that do Prime deals and stuff. I don't take it seriously because I don't want to spend a lot of money tomorrow. Good time to buy an Echo, I guess. The dots are, $25 now instead of $29. I guess, I feel like I shop all year round. I'll leave this one to you guys. Do you wait for Prime Day to buy those important things? Epic deals, says Amazon. Oh, a dot is normally $50, so it's half off. Okay. Well, that's a big price break. Half off. I don't know what else to say. Wow, the 4th generation Echo with premium sound is $75. They've really raised the prices on these guys. The Echo Dot, which used to be the cheap one, is $49.99. Wait a minute. The all-new Echo Dot with the clock on it is $59.99, $10 for the clock. Oh, that's the one I was thinking of, the little dot. This is the round dot. The old dot is that flat little puck, hockey puck, 3rd generation. See, that's the $35 one. But right now, $25 for a dot. Do people? It's funny because we talked about the fact that as Amazon, when you buy one of these newer devices, turns on this mesh network called Sidewalk, uses a little bit of your bandwidth to create a network all over your neighborhood. It goes half a mile using long-range networking. And people are up in arms about that, and they said, oh, turn it off. And then, but I think, well, you only have to turn it off if you have an Amazon Echo device, which means you already have put a microphone, and in many cases a camera for Amazon in your house. I feel like, if you're that far in the bag for Amazon, might as well turn on Sidewalk. I think Sidewalk's a good idea. It'll help find lost dogs and things like that. Let's see. Amazon Prime deals starting tomorrow. Although some of them, I guess, have started to come in today. Something to pay attention to. This is going to be a big week for Windows fans. On Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific. Get it? Actually, is it 11 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Eastern? I think it's Eastern, actually. 11 a.m. Eastern. Microsoft's going to announce the new Windows. The new Windows is here. The new Windows is here. Woo-hoo! Which is really just the old Windows with a nice glaze on top. A little raku glaze over the top of it to make it look shiny and new. Otherwise, I don't think it's different. We've seen a inadvertently leaked preview of Windows 11 this week, and yeah, it's pretty. Looks more like a Mac. But I can tell already there'll be howls of pain and outrage because they take the start menu and the icons to the right of it and they move it to the middle. They've centered it. And I know people who have that muscle memory. You go down the lower left corner to click the start menu. They're going to go, oh, no, they moved it to the middle. So I'm going to say this preemptively. There's a switch. You can put it back on the left. You can put it anywhere you want. I think it makes sense in the middle if you think about it, because that's less of a distance to travel with your mouse. And do you use the mouse to click the start menu? I feel like that's the bunny slope for Windows users. Is take the mouse and move it all the way down there to the left corner and click it. And that seems like that's just hit the Windows key. The whole thing pops up. You type the first few letters, and that's it. You're in. Yeah, that's a tip, right? Somebody's asking in our IRC chat room, irc.twit.tv, is there going to be a charge? Web Shorts asks. Are they going to? We don't know. Will it cost you? See, I think that's a question Windows users don't ask too much. Enthusiasts do. But most normal Windows users just buy a new computer and get whatever Windows is on it. And so I think what Microsoft will announce, we don't know, but I think on Thursday what they'll announce is, and now starting, June 30th or whatever, all new PCs will come with Windows 11 on it. And that's how most people get whatever version of Windows. It just comes with a new PC. It's the enthusiasts who actually say, I want to upgrade, I want Windows 11 on my old PC. But I don't think that's why Microsoft is doing this. They'll keep Windows 10 around for a while. They're doing Windows 11 to get people to buy new PCs. So I'm going to guess they're going to charge you. But I don't think they'll charge $100. I'm going to guess $35. That's just just enough money so Microsoft can say, look, we're going to make some money on this. But it's just low enough that the enthusiasts who really I want the latest. I have to have the latest. It's got to be new. It's got to be fresh. They're going to pay $35. So that's my prediction. But we don't know. We don't know. But it might be in our chat room says, no, it's going to be free. I predict it'll be free. It's not that Microsoft makes the bulk of its money from people buying upgrades to Windows. They gave away Windows 10 for a year, so maybe they'll do that for Windows 11. It's not a huge profit center for them. They make money on it because the PC manufacturers pay them. We call it the Windows tax. When you buy a Windows PC, some amount of that, we don't know exactly what, somewhere between $25 and $40 goes to Microsoft. That's to pay for Windows. You don't give it away to the PC makers. No siree. So this will be, we'll find out. Details will be revealed on Thursday. I guess it's exciting. We haven't had a new version of Windows in some time. So I guess it's good. It's good. We'll get excited about it. And I'll certainly talk about it next week. And you know what? If I have to pay for it, I guess I'll get it. I'll have to pay for it. If I get it for free, I'll be great. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you want to talk high tech. The website where everything is written down. James DeRuvo, our scribe, is writing it. TechGuyLabs.com. TechGuyLabs.com. We'll go to the phones in just a moment. Well, that's an interesting question. If you have a Bootcamp Mac, well, if it's an upgrade, no. Installing fresh, you're going to want to go through the Apple Bootcamp process. That's why Apple has that Bootcamp. So if you're just upgrading, if they offer an upgrade, which presumably they will, then just do that. It shouldn't change anything. But if you're going to install fresh, it's my guess that you'll want to go through the Bootcamp process again. Don't hang up on me. Don't. Kim Schaffer, the Unbreakable Phone Angel's here. She's the person, the most important person in this operation, the one who answers the phone and puts you on the air. Hello, Kim.
No, without your big brain, there'd be no show.
Honestly, without their calls, there'd be no show. Without you, there'd be no calls. So I think you count.
Okay.
Big time. Big time. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you. Happy summer solstice or winter solstice if you're in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
And happy Prime Day. You shop on Amazon Prime. You get all excited tomorrow? You're going to go out and...
Nope. No, you know what I'm doing tomorrow?
What?
Going on my first flight in like over 650 days.
Congratulations. That's a lot of days. Where are you going?
I've got friends up in a little island in Washington, so I'm flying into Seattle.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's a good starter.
It is. 2 hours.
Yeah, got to do a little starter thing.
Yeah. So I'm excited. It's a change of scenery. It'll be fun.
But you'll be back next Saturday, I hope.
Of course.
Okay.
I only planned Monday through Friday. I had to plan like you do.
You got me worried. You got me a little worried. Who should I start the show with?
Let's go right down the road to Lafayette. Bob has a question.
Bob and Lafayette.
Bob and Lafayette.
Thank you. Do you say Lafayette?
Lafayette? Lafayette. I say Lafayette.
I think that's how they say it in Lafayette.
Yeah, but I think it's different in Louisiana.
Lafayette.
Yeah.
And then France is, I don't know what. Lafayette, nous sommes ici. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Bob. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Good morning, Leo. I have a Pixel 5. I recently switched from Google Fi as the carrier to Visible, and since I'm not traveling internationally, and Visible has been a good carrier, but it's missing one important feature, and that is transcribing text. And I've
Really? So the Pixel 5 won't do the transcription if you're not on Fi?
Mine doesn't do it anyway. And,
it should.
It does what they call visual voicemail, so I can see the voicemails there.
Oh, you mean on your voicemail. Yeah, that's a Google voicemail versus the Verizon. Verizon runs Visible. Visible. There's no I in Visible. There's no second I in Visible. Actually, it's an invisible I, as I found out. So
I see a lot of apps that say they do it, but they got mixed reviews. I also have a separate Google Voice number, and I thought, well, maybe I could forward my cell phone number to Google Voice and then have it ring my Pixel, but I can't seem to get that to work because Google Voice will do it, of course. But so looking for some suggestions.
So Visible says they have visual voicemail. I've not used it yet. So the whole idea of Visible is it's kind of for people who want data more than they want calling, and it's a good deal. It's a very inexpensive thing, and it's owned by Verizon, runs on the Verizon networks.
Yeah, good coverage, and if you get 4 or more people, it's $25 a month unlimited.
Cheap, yeah. So So you just don't like how their visible voicemail works?
Visual voicemail just means you can look, from what I understand, you can see the voicemail.
Oh, you don't get the transcription.
Play them in any order you want.
Oh.
Have to call in to get them.
Yeah, that's very old school. So Apple introduced this when the iPhone came out with the AT&T, and you're right. Now that I think about it, all that meant is you could see what the calls were before you listened to them, but they didn't give you a transcript. It was Google that added that. Really nice, and I'm hooked on it. Transcription feature. Yeah.
They'll send it to you or email it to you. So
yeah. Well, voice will do that too. When you signed up for Google Fi, you made that your voice account, the Google Voice account, which is I don't know what happens when you quit Fi. You're going to be my guinea pig for this. Do you get to keep your phone number as a Google Voice number?
Yeah, you just transfer it over to Visible just like any other carrier.
Okay. So you'll have to create a new Google Voice account, I guess.
Well, see, I never merged mine, so I always had a number that was Google Voice.
Yeah.
My Fi number.
Yeah. So Voice does exactly what you want. That's where it was introduced, in fact.
Right.
I have not tried the third-party voicemail transcription program, so I don't know. Let me ask the chat if they have. We got a lot of people listening in the chat. If they have a preference or a recommendation, I have never tried any of them. I'm sure most of them you can try before you buy. I would hope.
Or do you know if there's a way to forward my Visible number to Google, my other Google Voice number, and have it ring my?
Well, yeah. Again, it's got all muddied because of the addition of Google Fi, Google's carrier. So the whole idea of Voice was you could have any number of numbers forward to it. So you could, if you go into Voice, your voice settings, you can enroll up to, I think, 5 different phones in Google Voice, 5 different numbers.
If somebody calls my Google Voice number, I can have them ring my cell phone, but I can't see a way to forward. I can go into my Visible account and forward the call to my Google Voice number, but then it doesn't ring my cell phone, even though it's listed there.
That's interesting. Okay. So, I don't know. You come up with an interesting conundrum. You like Visible better than Fi?
Well, it's unlimited for $25 a month.
Price is right.
Fi was 1 gigabyte for $30.
Right. Yeah. The way Fi works, and they keep changing the plans, but the way it worked was $20 flat fee for voice and text, and then $10 a gigabyte after that. So $30 would be the cheapest you could get. So yeah, that seems like Visible's a better idea. Plus, you get on the Verizon network, which is a very good.
Yeah,
network.
Better coverage than Fi had. But when you're traveling internationally, there's nothing better than to get off the plane and it says "Welcome to India" or wherever. Well,
that's why I have Fi, and of course I haven't used it in more than a year. Somebody, Bo in Alaska says, is it Arkansas? Says I have Visible and I get my voicemails transcribed. So you should take a look at that and make sure that they don't do the transcription. Maybe something you have to turn on.
Okay, well, they do their services by text or their support.
Yeah, that's where you give up a little bit. But, who wants to be on a phone with a tech support anyway?
Yeah, I did text them, and they said it's something that they want. That maybe he's on a test. They said they hope to do it, but they weren't doing it yet.
He might be. Sometimes they do that. They slowly roll it out. I will keep taking suggestions for third-party text voice mail, and we'll see if we can find one for you. Voxist, Mike B says, has good reviews, VOXIST, but I don't know if anybody's tried any of these. It's so funny how we've changed dramatically the way we get messages, right? Umail, Matt is saying that he uses Umail with Verizon and it works well for him. 10 transcriptions a month for free. Yeah, I don't get very many voicemails, that would probably do it for me. So that's another recommendation, something called Umail. Let me look at that. It's not voicemail, it's Umail. Visual voicemail with the best spam blocking. Block robocalls. Well, that sounds like you have to use a Umail phone number. So that would be the one problem, is you're going to have to forward. Yeah, you get a virtual number. So that's kind of like Google Voice. That's what I would do. I would just say forward your calls to Google Voice and let Google Voice do it. Or what I do, I don't give out my phone numbers. I just give out a Google Voice number. That's like my always number, which is another way to do it. I honestly think that's the best way to do it. I kind of got messed up when Fi came out. I ended up giving that number to Google Fi, which wasn't great. So I've lost that number. I guess I could port it back. Oh, I'm going to cry. I'm going to put in a request. There is a song, Professor Laura, our musical director, playing these wonderful tunes for Father's Day. There is a song that makes me cry every time I hear it. I think you might know the name, Luther Vandross. Do you know the song Dance with My Father, Professor?
Yes.
That makes me cry every time. Every single time. This was making me tear up too. 8888 Ask Leo the phone number. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Called my dad this morning. Said, Happy Father's Day, Dad. He said, who is this? I said, it's your son. 8888. Who is it? Who's it? New number. Who's this? 8888 Ask Leo. Lots of interesting recommendations. This is this issue of. Oh, by the way, I should explain. Normally we'd have Sam Sammet, our car guy, on right now. He is on an airplane flying to Austin, Texas, where he is going to get to drive the new Ford Bronco. I love it that they're making them go to Texas to drive the Bronco. Sam lives literally down the road from Ford in Michigan, but they're making everybody go to Texas for the Bronco. Of course they are. Of course they are. 8888 Ask Leo's the phone number. Lots of conversation about alternatives. I guess I have to admit I'm hooked now on getting voice transcriptions in my voicemail, even if they're not perfect, because I really love. I don't want to listen to the voicemail. It's really interesting how fast life moves these days. It wasn't that long ago. Where remember when we first got answering machines? Maybe you don't. If you're young, you don't. But that was like a big deal. And there were people who would not leave a voice message on the answering machine. Click, leave a message, click, and the tape would go. Hi, honey. What would we do on Father's Day without that? Answering machines. That was, when did they come out? Maybe the 70s or the 80s. And then it was great when companies, the phone, at first I didn't want to do it. Phone company had its own voicemail system. I didn't want to do it. I thought, no, I want my own answering machine. But eventually, I ended up, you can still buy answering machines, but most people, they don't charge anymore. They used to charge you a lot for voicemail. And then in 2007, Apple comes out with the iPhone on AT&T, and that was a big selling point. Visual voicemail. But our caller reminded me that didn't have a transcript. It just was a list on the screen of the voicemails and who they were from. You still had to press play. But at least you didn't have to dial a number, because in the early days of voicemail, remember, you had to dial a number. In fact, on your phone, many phones, I bet it still works. If you press and hold 1 on your keypad, calls voicemail. You have no messages in your mailbox. I have no messages. Because no one calls me, and I like it that way. So it still works that way. Nobody wants to do that. So everybody now offers at least visual voicemail, where you can look and see on the screen, as Apple kind of invented with AT&T, and see what you got. It only worked with AT&T at first. Now everybody does that. Next step, I think Google invented this one. Going to give them credit. Instead of just looking who called and when, you can now see a transcript of what they said. Pretty poor. In fact, it's often humorous. But still, that's great. I'm looking, I guess, does Apple do it too now? Or do you have to have, Here's a transcription. It says transcription beta. And it's my son singing happy birthday to me. I saved it. I saved that a long time ago. But it transcribed his singing. That was cool. That's cool. Nowadays, do we even make phone calls anymore? You text, don't you? And that's automatically transcribed. But I do think if somebody's calling you and leaving a message, I really want to see what they said. So I have Apple on T-Mobile. They're doing it. I'm surprised Visible isn't, but that may be, remember Verizon's created Visible as a low-cost alternative to Verizon, full service. And so that might be one of the, of course, Verizon has visual voicemail, but, text transcriptions. We need a new name for that. I don't know what the text voicemail, some transcribed text, I guess. I don't know. John in Los Angeles, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, John.
Hey, Leo. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Good. Big fan of the show. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. I have a iPhone question. I use a iPhone SE, an older iPhone.
Yes,
and
I have one right here. Love them.
The best one, I think.
I think so. If you like a smaller phone, absolutely. And it has all the old features. The only feature they took out, which makes me sad, they don't have the headphone jack anymore, but it's got the fingerprint and the home button and all that stuff. I like it.
Yeah, I got it mainly just because I like a smaller phone.
Yeah.
That's the only iPhone option.
It's sold very well for Apple. I think it told Apple that people still want the small phones. I'm curious if they're gonna update this anytime soon.
I hope they do. I mean, it's still possible to get an SE, but
they're still selling it. Oh yeah, but it's getting a little bit. I think the guts of this are now the iPhone 5C, something like that. I can't remember what they put in here. Maybe it's a A12, so it's not so old. Anyway, what can I do to help you with it?
I'm having a problem with my mom's phone specifically. She uses an iPhone as well, and I am unable to call her or text her. So when I call, it doesn't ring. It goes directly to voicemail, and she can't see my texts. But she is able to call me and text me, no problem.
I don't think it's the phone. I think she's blocked you. I hate to tell you this. I hope this isn't going to break your heart.
That was the first thing I thought of.
Mom, you blocked me.
But
I'm sure she did it inadvertently, John, but that's exactly what would happen if she blocked you.
Well, it wouldn't just cut off the call?
No. But there's different ways to block it. So it may be an iPhone thing because you can say to the iPhone, she might have turned on Do Not Disturb, but the text's not coming through is interesting. You've looked at her phone to make sure that the texts aren't there. It's not merely that she doesn't get a notification, but that they're not there.
I haven't checked that.
Yeah. Is she older?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she may be, sometimes, this happens. She might be a little confused. If she doesn't get a notification that you text her, she might say, oh, he never texts me. But if she looked and she knew where to look. The iPhone, as with everybody now, has all sorts of new features to keep you from being disturbed by phone calls. And because nobody wants phone calls anymore, but also because there's so many robocalls and spam calls. So there are features in the iPhone. For instance, if you turn on Do Not Disturb, you can set it so that the phone doesn't ring. It just goes straight to voicemail. I think you can even do that with an individual number. You're right. If it's blocked at the carrier level, I don't think you'd even get a voicemail. It would say this number doesn't exist or to give you something like that. So I don't think she blocked it by the carrier. It's probably an iPhone setting. The problem is if she doesn't live near you and you can't go over and say, Mom, let me look at this, you're going to have to walk her through it, which I have done with my mom many times. It can be time consuming and difficult, but that's probably what's going to have to happen.
I tried to do that.
Yeah, I know. Have her look in settings in the Do Not Disturb because you'll see what she's blocked in there, I think. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, you can say, for instance, allow calls from during Do Not Disturb. You can say, for instance, I allow calls from favorites, Or you can have it be by groups. So she can have a family group that you're in, and she allows calls from that. So I'm going to guess that's the first place to look is Do Not Disturb.
Okay, because I had her check, if I was blocked by accident, and that wasn't the problem. So
yeah.
Do not disturb is a separate thing from
It's
blocking.
a separate setting, yeah. And I bet you she's just turned that on. And then the other thing to do is to go look in Apple Contacts at your contact. I don't know, have you done that? Because if you look at the contact, there are settings in there. And she might, for instance, want to add you to her favorites, which will kind of help it get through.
Okay.
But yeah, and so there's different ways to block. The carrier will block, but also you can block in the iPhone itself. If you are looking at somebody's contact, you can actually say, I don't want to hear from them anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So, if you look at like for instance, I'm looking at my son's voicemail. I can do information. Maybe you can't block it there. Maybe you have to block it in the. I don't want to block my son, obviously. I just think a lot of times with older people, it's easy thing to accidentally push a button and get a result you didn't expect.
Right. I memean, she's actually pretty good with using the phone correctly. So that's not the issue, it doesn't happen with anybody else.
So she is able to get calls from other people.
Yeah. And I'm on a text chain with me and my brother and my dad's phone. And, she does that very proficiently every time with pictures.
Oh,
and everything.
Okay. So that's not the problem. Is she, are you on different carriers?
No, I think we're both on Verizon.
Okay, if you're on the same carrier, then that's even less likely. Sometimes, if people are on different carriers, occasionally there's issues getting through. That shouldn't happen, but occasionally that has possibilities there. I would say have her make sure that she adds you to her favorites. I think that's probably, and we'll put a link in the show notes to an article on how to unblock a number, which you could send it to her, and then she could check to see. I'm just thinking of how else, otherwise it's just some weird thing, but I think it's blocked. There is, you can't block at Verizon on the website, so you could have, if you're both on Verizon, you can have her look at her services and look at there's a list of blocked numbers. It's kind of weird. It's under My Services, Parental Controls, Usage Controls. See all blocked numbers. So that is something she could look at as well.
Well, how would you access that? Calling the provider? Or?
No, you go on the Verizon website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could also call the provider. They would do the same thing for you. She could just call Verizon and say, "Hey, do I have any blocked numbers?"
Okay.
So there's two ways you block it. In other words, one with the carrier, one in the phone itself. And if you can't find any weird settings in the phone, then I'd call the carrier.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Hey, it's nice to talk to you. Happy Father's Day, John.
You too, Leo. I really appreciate your help, pal.
I hope it helps. Take care.
I'll try. You too. You too. Bye-bye.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. It is cell phone day. Let's see what we got here. Jason on the line from Henrico, Virginia. Is that how you say it? Henrico?
Henrico. Whatever. You're not going to be coming here, so you don't have to worry about it.
I might come there. You never know. Where in Virginia is Henrico?
Just outside of Richmond.
Nice.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you so much for everything you do. You and the network that you have is incredible.
You're talking about the podcast, the TWiT network?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're very,
it's
very happy.
Tremendous.
Yeah, thank you.
If time permits, I do have a Club TWiT question, but that's not the primary point of this. So picture, if you will,
yes.
a small room with a small TV. I'm talking small.
Okay.
With a TiVo hooked to it. So what I want to do is I want to get that TiVo audio to go over my Sonos speakers. I have a couple Play Ones in that room and a Play One in another room. I don't want to buy a sound bar. The point is just to have the audio. I don't really care about because I know the lip sync and all that might be off. I'm blind, so what do I care about the picture portion?
What a good idea, though. You can listen to your TV all through the house, right?
Yeah. And I just want to be able to, like, if I have something on the TiVo recorded, just to be able to do it that way. Now, I've done it where I've streamed over the app, but it doesn't support AirPlay 2, so the audio quality is pretty awful.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if I have two ideas, and you can tell me if I'm thinking about this the right way. The first idea was to maybe get some kind of airport transmitter. I know receiver wouldn't be the direction to go, so an airport transmitter from the TiVo for the Sonos to pick up. Or I do have the option to where I could maybe hook it to my computer from the TiVo, because I do have a piece of software that is called Stream What You Hear.
Yeah.
And that will actually work directly with the Sonos. So anything that's streaming on the computer audio, I can play over any of my Sonos speakers.
Those would work. I mean, what Sonos would tell you is buy our amp. They have a thing called the Sonos amp.
Right.
650 smackers, but,
Yeah.
You say the word Sonos, they charge you $1. So, I mean, these guys... I have Sonos everywhere, and I love it and I hate it at the same time because it's so expensive. But with an amp, you hook the amp up to the TiVo, and now it's on your Sonos system everywhere.
Yeah, and I had thought about that but like you said, the price,
it's outrageous.
Sound bar.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
I don't know why they charge so much. They used to have a simpler device, but I think they called the Connect, but I think they might have gotten rid of that. They're very...
They supposedly have a Connect 2, but I haven't been able to find if that's even being sold anymore.
Yeah.
Or if that's even that.
I should just send you my old Connect. I can't. Well, I won't, because those are the old. That's the deprecated TiVo Sonos One thing now, and I actually ended up just scrapping all my old Sonoses because they don't work with the new one. It's very frustrating.
I know you got upset about that, and at the time I was going to call you and disagree, but that's fine. I mean, I understood your point, but also I kind of was like, hey, Leo, you don't have a problem when it happens with a computer or a phone.
No, you're right. The lesson learned was don't combine your electronics with your speakers.
Yeah. Because
the electronics do age out. And, of course, they're going to age out. The problem that I had is that Sonos basically deprecated thousands of dollars of Sonos gear. Yep. And if I wanted new Sonos gear, it wouldn't work with the old. I had to have 2 Sonos apps for a while. The other thing is, Sonos has really been superseded. Everybody's doing what Sonos does, including Apple and Google, and Amazon. So let me think. So the TiVo has audio out, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's what you would connect to the amp. Was there some other way we could get that onto the Sonos network? That's really what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't know if there's an AirPlay 2 transmitter that would accomplish that, or if the Sonos would even see that. Because and I also have, not that it would matter necessarily, but I do have the new Sonos Roam.
So if you put the line in to the Sonos, because some of them do still have line in.
Yeah, none of the ones I always.
But it doesn't put it on the network anyway. Probably.
It would actually.
Would
yes,
it?
It would. If I had like a Play 5. You could actually say line in, and then that would actually feed the rest of the network.
Nice.
Which is nice, but
that would be the way to do it. Yeah. Okay, and the Roam doesn't have line in on it, huh?
Right.
That's their Bluetooth. That's their Bluetooth speaker,
which is actually pretty darn nice.
Yeah. That seems like a missing feature from Sonos, that they don't have line in that you could use, except on the Play 5, which is their their expensive big speaker. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a AirPlay 2 transmitter?
Yeah, well, I don't know how well it's going to work, but there is a Raspberry Pi way to do this, and I think that's probably what you're going to want, a Raspberry Pi Sonos server, in effect. So Raspberry Pi, as you know, is a $35 inexpensive but really cool computer system. Mm-hmm. And you can in effect make a Sonos amp with a Raspberry Pi, basically.
Oh, I got you.
And then,
$35.
Yeah, for $35 instead of $650. It's not gonna. It's a project. It's a project.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking, let's see, add aux to Sonos using Raspberry Pi. This is on Instructables. They have a lot of good little Raspberry Pi stuff. But I have seen others. If you look for Raspberry Pi and Sonos, there are a lot of different things you can do with Sonos and Ras Pi. So if you have a Raspberry Pi, you can get audio into it, and you can get it effectively, I think, to be an amp served to the Sonos network. So that's going to be your least expensive and probably most reliable way to do it.
What about running audio from the TiVo some way into the computer? Because, like I said, I have software that works great. So any audio that's
well, that's what you're doing with the Raspberry Pi. Yeah. So there'll be software. Yeah, that's basically the same thing. Yeah. If you get it into the computer and you have Sonos software that will add that computer's audio to the network, I don't. Is there such a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this software is pretty cool. So, like, I can go to YouTube, for example.
Is that third-party software, or is that from Sonos?
Yeah, it's third-party.
Yeah, so that's
it sees it as a DLNA device.
Yeah, perfect.
And
that's I'm sure similar to what the Raspberry Pi's doing. Yeah,
My jaws will come over my Sonos if I start, moving around on the computer. It's pretty wild.
I want to get this anyway because I like AirPlay 2, and I love the idea of getting an AirPlay 2 transmitter. So there is a company, TicCorp, TICCORP, that makes something, the WBR12, which is an AirPlay 2 transmitter and receiver.
Okay.
So let me see how much this is. Oh, jeez, $200.
Really? Oof.
Oof. Get a Raspberry Pi or use the Sonos software if you've got stuff that works on your PC. Yeah, a lot of people, this is the thing. I think Sonos, it's not going to guarantee to work forever because Sonos at any point could say, yeah, we don't like that. The third-party software is accessing us, so we're going to turn it off.
Yeah. And it just, like I said, it sees it as a DLNA server.
I guess they can't really turn off DLNA, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then I just kind of pick. And then what's really cool is you just say, it'll just generate an IP address, and then you can save that as a tune-in favorite.
Nice. So it's you're basically making a radio station.
Yeah.
Very clever.
So I have a preset that says my computer, and then when I switch to that, anything that's on the computer. So if I'll actually order pay-per-view sometimes on the computer.
I love that.
And then just have them stream that way over my Sonos. And like I said, I'm sure there's video lag, but I don't care. What do I care?
Jason, very clever. Hey, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for the kind words. Next time I'm in Henrico, I'll look you up.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a great day. We'll put a link also to something, this is interesting, from Belkin called the Soundform Connect Audio Adapter with AirPlay 2 that lets you stream AirPlay 2 from any device. I presume your TiVo would work too. That one's only $100. So it looks like there may be other ways to solve this. I like this Belkin thing. This looks like a good solution, actually. It's $99. At least it's not, we're getting the price down bit by bit. Audio adapter with AirPlay for iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple TV, HomePod, and other AirPlay 2 enabled devices. Our audio adapter with AirPlay 2 is a simple plug-and-play way to stream the music you love on your existing speakers. So it has just a little box, analog audio out, digital optical audio out, and then USB-C, which is probably power. I'm confused. There's no audio in. Should it say analog audio in? Oh, I see. No, this is the wrong direction. So this is a receiver only. Okay. So you AirPlay to this doohickey, and then this doohickey's plugged into your sound system. So actually, that's a nice thing to have. It could turn any sound system into an AirPlay 2 compatible sound system. That's not what he wants, though. He wants it the other direction. So he wants to take the output of the TiVo and put it into an AirPlay 2 transmitter. I think what you really want to do is turn it into a Sonos device. You want a homemade Sonos amp, basically. Yeah, this thing uses the Raspberry Pi does IceCast. That's kind of cool. Huh. No, Scooter X. What he wants is he's got a TV show on his TiVo. He wants to play the audio out of that into the Sonos speakers all over his house. So he needs to take the audio from the TiVo. If it will transmit AirPlay 2, if you had an external transmitter AirPlay 2, the Sonos supports AirPlay 2. So you can play to a Sonos device from your Apple iPhone, for instance. So what you want is something that'll simulate an iPhone and take the audio from. But that's going to be expensive, and the reason it's expensive is because Apple charges a hefty license fee, I'm sure. So that WBR12 does that. It's a transmitter and receiver. As a transmitter, you can and only can output your existing audio device to other compatible. Never mind. That doesn't work either. You can't. That's because they didn't want to pay the Apple fee. You have to have another TIC device, not Apple AirPlay 2 devices or Sonos, I guess. As a receiver, it will work with other AirPlay devices, but not. So yeah, never mind. Forget the TIC as well. What you really want is a Raspberry Pi that can put audio onto the Sonos network like the Sonos amp does. Add aux to Sonos using Raspberry Pi. So Play 5 would do it as well, but he doesn't want to buy a Play 5. So you take a Raspberry Pi, a Behringer USB sound card with stereo RCA inputs, or a cheap $10 USB stereo capture card. You need the audio to come out digital. That's why. So you need basically a DAC or a ADC, an analog to digital converter. So because there's no sound card, no audio inputs on the Raspberry Pi. It doesn't have its own analog to digital converter. So you get a little audio converter that takes the audio from the TiVo. Unless the TiVo has USB out. It might, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Connect it to the Raspberry Pi. I think there is. I'm going to have to. This is like a 30-step thing. The next question is how you get. So now you've got the audio in the Raspberry Pi. How do you get it? How do you get it into the Sonos? So now he's going to use Dark Ice and IceCast. Turn it into an IceCast, Shoutcast stream. Okay. Can the Sonos pick up a Shoutcast stream? This is a bit of a hack. So it's basically you're creating an IceCast. This is actually kind of cool. You can buy IceCast boxes too. You're taking the audio out of the TiVo and making it like he was doing, making it a Shoutcast or IceCast radio station. So let me see here. We used to have an IceCast box. It wasn't very expensive. Yeah, it's very both are proprietary, Kev. That's exactly right. Yeah, basically getting well away from Sonos. I mean, we have, legacy Sonos systems. I have a couple of moves. We have a Sonos sound bar in the gym. But I've effectively replaced it everywhere. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, complicated, crazy setups, interfacing two highly proprietary systems. That's what we do here. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. If your mom has blocked your calls, you call me, and I'll see what I can do. 8888 Ask Leo, the website where we put links to everything we talk about, techguylabs.com. A lot of times you'll hear me answer a question and say, well, I've got an article here. We're going to put it up on the show notes. That's where they go. And there's no sign up. It's free. In fact, I not only encourage you to visit techguylabs.com, but If you've got a better idea, or you've tried something, or you've got a suggestion, or you just want to say, Leo, you're wrong, you can say all that in the comments, which is also open to all. TechGuyLabs.com. Michael in Whitby, Ontario, Canada. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Leo. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So I just bought a computer, a Dell, and it has two drives on it, a C drive and a D drive. The C drive is the SSD, and the other one is the regular hard drive.
Okay.
So I get that I put, the documents and stuff on the D drive, but I'm not sure where to install new programs. Should I put it on the C or the D?
Well, of course, a lot of this is determined by how much capacity you have on each. But generally, it's Windows, right? Not Linux. Yeah. Generally, Dell does sell Linux computers, believe it or not. Generally, you'll want all the programs, all of Windows on the C drive for two reasons. Okay. The C drive is the fastest. So you want programs to load fast, that sort of thing. But also, the C drive is where Windows expects to find them. You can probably trick Windows, and many programs when you install Steam as an example, and you're installing Steam games, Steam lets you in the settings say, no, put my games here. And that's actually a good thing because games are huge. So there may be a good reason to put it on the D drive. But for most applications, they want to be on the same disk as Windows. They want to be on the C drive. It's also your fastest. So reserve the D drive. D is for data, for stuff you create. Yeah,
thanks. That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
It's a fairly generous C drive. It's 256.
Oh, that's plenty. It's unlikely you're going to run out. Windows itself might use half of that at most. And applications aren't as. It's really the videos, music, the data files, and especially rich media files that take up a lot of space. That should go on your D drive, and they're not as speed critical. They load into RAM and they stay there. But your programs are constantly loading and unloading and doing all sorts of stuff. So I always keep everything on this fastest drive. Okay.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Sure, Michael. It's a good question. That's something you're seeing more and more. SSDs, especially those fast M.2 drives, are a little more expensive. And some computers, even laptops, have enough space for two drives. So sometimes they put in this kind of hybrid situation where you've got a C drive that's super fast, a solid-state drive, but not as big because it's more expensive per gigabyte, and then a much larger drive for your data, a D drive. And it often is a spinning drive. I think the days of those giant spinning drives are numbered, though, because SSD prices have dropped so much. I think what I'd really like to see, and someday you may end up doing this as an upgrade, is an NVMe M.2 drive. That's the fastest possible drive as the C drive. Smaller, 256 is fine. And then instead of a spinning drive that's a terabyte or two, an SSD that's a terabyte or two, those Samsung Evo SSDs are very inexpensive now. They're getting very close to this price of a spinning drive. And it does make a difference. It's a lot faster. I suspect the days of spinning drives are numbered, except maybe in things like network-attached storage, where price and capacity are most important. Bart on the line from Los Angeles. You're next. Hi, Bart. Leo Laporte.
Greetings, Leo. I reached the absolutely end of my rope with a browser problem that I have, or actually, I guess it's a connection problem. I had an old Acer desktop I was using, and I noticed a lot of pages would load, and a lot of pages wouldn't. Strangely enough, YouTube would always load, Facebook would always load, Drudge Report would always load, but then there's a ton of pages that I would just get, seems to be missing connection, blah, blah, blah. Huh. So I thought I was the computer on the out. So I bought a new Lenovo desktop. Same thing keeps happening. And I went online and somebody said, well, flush the DNS. So
No, it's not the computer. It's not the computer. So especially since you bought a new one and the same thing's happening, right? Right. So there's a couple of things you might want to try. It's obviously your internet connection. Do you have, first of all, what browser are you using?
Chrome, but it also happens on Firefox and Explorer.
So it is possible to set up Chrome and Firefox and other browsers to synchronize settings. And if you had installed some weird extension that was causing this problem, that might have synchronized to the new machine. But if it happens on all your browsers, it's probably neither the machine, the operating system, nor any software on the machine. It probably has something to do with your internet connection. So Wi-Fi?
No, it's an Ethernet.
Ethernet Direct Connect. Who's your ISP?
Yep. Do you mean the provider?
Yeah.
Spectrum.
Okay. So it's possible, I'm going to guess, in fact, it's likely that Spectrum's DNS server is either flaky or slow. So your friend was right, kind of on track with the DNS cache. DNS, domain name system, is the thing. It's basically the phone book in the sky that translates a website's name, like yahoo.com, into its number. You need the number. The browser needs the number. It's an IP address, and that's like the phone number. So this phone book in the sky translates everything. There are 13 so-called canonical servers that are run by the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN. Those are all over the world. Those are the official phone books, but nobody... very rarely would you ever access those. You're going to access somebody who has accessed them, and your DNS server is your internet service provider in most cases, unless you've made some changes. So the cache is local, and the browser's doing that over time as you look at pages. If it keeps the most recently loaded pages, because very often you're going back to that site, so it doesn't want to go and make an internet request for the IP address if it can store it locally. So that's why your friend said, hey, flush the cache, because sometimes the cache can get messed up. But it's not that, obviously, because it's happening on two different machines all the time. So maybe it's a slow-responding DNS server from Spectrum, because that's the next place you go. It could be your router. Your router often caches IP addresses as well, so it could be a router issue. But the first thing I do is get a different DNS server. You don't have to use your ISPs. That's the default, but you don't have to use it. There are a lot of companies that provide third-party DNS services, and you might want to try one that's faster. So there's 1.1.1.1. There's 9.9. That's Cloudflare, by the way. There's 9.9.9.9. I'd try 1.1.1.1. So the way you change this, you can either change it at your router, which would change it for your whole house, or if it's just you on your system, just change it in your network settings. The default will be unfilled. It won't be filled in, because what they do is they get that information from the ISP, from the base router, and it says, they query it and say, what's the DNS server, and they use that. But you can change that. You can have your own. My friend Steve Gibson has it's actually one of his most popular programs, a DNS benchmark at grc.com that will actually let you try a variety of DNS servers and see which one is faster. It's free. grc.com, the DNS name server performance benchmark, and it's an old-fashioned DOS-looking program, but it's got some graphics. But what's cool about it is it'll run the benchmark and tell you which DNS servers are fastest. You can add the ones you're thinking about. I use a third-party service. It's not free, but it's not much. It's $1 or $2, called NextDNS, that gives me a lot of additional features, including fast performance. NextDNS.io. It is, in effect, an ad blocker, a firewall. It protects you against malware. I'm extremely happy with it. It's free for the first 300,000 queries, but $1.99 a month. Most people are going to get to that, or $20 a year. You could try it for free and see if you like it, and see if it solves that problem. So there's a lot of third-party. Verizon has, you can use their servers. You can use Google's 8.8.8.8. I can't remember if that's Verizon or Google. Quad Ones is probably another one to try. That's Cloudflare. And if you actually go to 1.1.1.1, Cloudflare actually has a web page attached to that will let you see what they offer. And they, I think they also do run 2.2.2.2, I think, which gives you more blocking, kind of next DNS style blocking. Cloudflare is so big and so fast, and they power much of the internet, that they're probably going to be your fastest choice. But do the DNS benchmark if you want to see what's fastest for you. 1.1.1.1. Just enter it in your browser. All 8s is Google. What is Verizon? All 4s? I think it's 4.4.4.4. I can't remember. There's quite a few of them. The one I use at home and I put it on my router is NextDNS. Love it. NextDNS.io. We'll put all of that. I know I just gave you a kind of a brain dump on that. We'll put all of that on the show notes at techguylabs.com. It could be other things. Could be your router. There's all sorts of things that can cause that. What I believe is happening is for commonly accessed pages, they're loading right away. But the DNS is slow, and it could very well be Spectrum. The DNS is slow when you're going to other pages, and that's what you're seeing. And it looks like the page isn't loading. It might actually load eventually, but a lot of times browsers give up and that kind of thing. So I think that's the first thing I'd look at. See if you can speed up your DNS. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 88. Ask Leo, happy Father's Day to our dads out there. Bill on the line from Statesville, North Carolina. Hello, Bill. Oh, got to push your button. There you go. Here we go. Hey, Bill.
Hello. A week ago Thursday, we had a lightning strike right by our house. And we had a really good surge protector on the TV. The surge protector burned up, but it saved the TV and everything else.
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
I am so glad you had that surge protector.
So are we. We lost cable for 3 days, and I put our router burned up.
Yeah.
So I bought a Netgear Wi-Fi router and modem and router.
Cable modem, yeah.
Yeah. And we get about 250 on our wired desktop.
Okay.
But the iPads get about 40.
Ew.
Last night I was at my buddy's house, and he has a Motorola modem with the TP-Link mesh Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And my phone was getting 240.
Oy! That's frustrating.
What do you think of the separate modem and?
Well, that's all I ever do. In fact, we had a caller yesterday who had a Netgear Dual. I generally like to do separates. The cable company is going to provide you often with, a dual use device because it's easier for them to install and so forth. But if one dies or one's not good or one's unreliable, then the whole thing goes down. So I like to have a separate cable modem. I use a Netgear cable modem, the CM1000, or actually it's on sale now, the CM1100 for $109 at Costco. That's a nice cable modem. He has a Motorola Aris. Those are also very good. If you go to the wirecutter.com, they'll rate cable modems. Of course, you have to have one that's going to work with your cable company, so they'll tell you which ones will work. But you've already been through this because you bought the Nighthawk, right? Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So you've already been through the process of getting it set up. You might have to call them to get them to accept the new MAC address and so forth. You could try. I mean, it's an interesting question. You're getting full speed on Ethernet. It's just the Wi-Fi is not good.
Yes, my Wi-Fi is about 30.
Yeah, so it's not the cable modem. It's the router, if anything. But it could also just be where the router's positioned. If you have metal in the walls, Wi-Fi does not work well going through things, including humans. So try putting the router higher up so it's kind of going over your heads. Try repositioning it, moving the antennas around, stuff like that. Often that fixes poor Wi-Fi. The other thing you can do, I agree, you should not be getting 40 megabits. You're not going to get the full 200 megabits that you're paying for. Wi-Fi does have some overhead. Sometimes it's not even as much as, you might get about half, but you shouldn't be getting 40. You should be getting at least 100 on that iPad. Is it an old iPad?
No, they're about a year old.
Oh, that's right, because you're getting fast speed on your friends. So, something's wrong. And it's wrong. Obviously, it's wrong with the Wi-Fi because the router's doing just fine with wired, and the cable modem's doing just fine with wired. You're getting full throughput. So I would say it's maybe a radio problem. The other thing you can do, TP-Link, your friend's mesh system, also sells something they call power line networking that uses your electrical power grid in the house in place of Ethernet. And so if you have, they're fairly inexpensive, and that's another way you could try it. Or if you really like those TP links, or your friend really likes the TP links, get a separate cable modem and take the Netgear back. It's probably too late to get your money back, but.
No, it's not. It's only been a week.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. 40 megabits is not right on a 200 megabit connection. You should get at least 100.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd say it's the router, but you could try repositioning it. It's a tri-band router, 5 gigahertz and 2 gigahertz?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm just trying to think of what could be different between your friend's setup and your setup. And is the iPad speed bad even if you're sitting next to the router?
Yes, it is not great.
Yeah. So now I'm wondering maybe the router is something wrong with it. So you might just say, hey, the throughput's terrible on Wi-Fi. There's something wrong with it. Maybe the antenna got disconnected internally, something like that.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. In other words, your instinct is right. I'm glad you tested it at a friend's house. Sometimes I say that. Let's make sure it's not the iPad. Bring it over to a friend's house. It's super fast. Okay. We now know it's your Wi-Fi. Costco has the TP-Link Tri-Band 7 stream. I don't know why I'm doing Costco ads for $150. That's a Wi-Fi 6 router. That's a good price. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Chris Marquardt coming up. It's time for our photo guy, my personal photo sensei, Mr. Chris Marquardt at sensei.photo. He joins us every week to talk about getting better pictures with your digital device. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how's it going today?
It's going great. When? I hear you got your Model 3 Tesla. You love it?
Yep.
I see them everywhere. Everywhere now. Yeah.
I always have a big grin on my face. I'm looking for chores now because I like.
Yeah. Can I drive somewhere, please? Anywhere. Yeah. Awesome. Today we're going to do some astrophotography. I have a link from Chris. Go ahead.
Technically speaking, not quite astrophotography, more like night sky photography, because there is a difference. If you call what we are going to talk about astrophotography, the real astrophotographers will knock on your door and.
Well, what's the difference? I mean, it's pictures of the stars. Isn't that all the same?
Yeah, but astrophotography is more really like telescopes and taking pictures of Saturn and faraway galaxies and things. What I'm talking about is more like skyscapes at night. You know, the Milky Way. That would be a good example.
Yeah. Well, you can also blame Google for this because they call it astrophotography when you do it with your Android phone.
True, yeah.
So, all right.
Very true. This is the kind of photography that this time of year is the right time to do it because it's not as cold at night as it is at other times of year.
Yes, good point.
standing out there, and you will take time at night. Being out there for hours at I don't know, 4 a.m. or something, that is just no fun in winter. So the thing is, this might be a bit more technical, but I have a bit of a smartphone thing in there as well at the end. But in general, I mean, this is being done by people who kind of really know what their camera gear can do, having bigger cameras, bigger sensors. We're talking mirrorless cameras, full frame cameras, DSLRs, that kind of stuff.
This one, I'm looking at, you sent us a link, which we'll put in the show notes, to a gallery from Netflix of other people's photographies. This one from Royce Bear is gorgeous, and I don't know how he did it. It's got a reflection of the stars in a pond. It's got the stars themselves. Everything. It must be HDR, right? I don't know how he got this.
Foreground elements. Oh yeah, there is certainly some compositing going on because you need the foreground. Often comes out with a different exposure.
Are these time exposures?
Milky Way.
Does this?
Oh yes, they are.
Yeah, but not long, not super long. The stars would move, right?
Yeah, you have there's something called the 600 rule, where you would look at your focal length, like how far you're zoomed in, and the further you zoomed out, the better, because then the stars won't move as fast in relation to the picture. And the 600 rule is divide 600 by your focal length, and that's kind of ends up being your seconds that you can expose before. But the shortcut is stay under 20 seconds, and you should be fine with most focal lengths. Okay. So 20 seconds is kind of your limit there. And if you expose longer, you get star streaks instead of stars as little points in the sky. You'll have to watch for light pollution. Like there's so many places out there where stars don't really show up in photos because there is too much artificial light around there. There's a website called Dark Side Finder, which is a pretty good place to go. They have like a map of the entire world with areas that have more light pollution and less light pollution. In the US, it's typically the national parks that are really good at being really dark at night. And then you want the one big light polluter in the sky. You don't want that there, and that's the moon. If you have a full moon up in the sky, that will have a lot of scattered light. So there's tools like the photographer's ephemeris, which will help you find those nights, or just look in the calendar, I guess. Nights with
you want a new
where
moon.
The moon is
you
not
want a
up.
new moon if you can. No moon at all.
Or you don't want the moon at all in the sky. Find those times, and it should be much easier. And then there's a few challenges there, like the focusing, for example, because your autofocus in your camera is likely not really going to work well.
It doesn't know where the stars are,
Too faint. And if you have a lens that you can focus manually, then the idea would be, okay, I want to focus all the way to one direction to get to infinity focus, but autofocus lenses often go beyond infinity.
What?
Sounds amazing, but it's just the way they are built. So
to infinity and beyond. So which do I want?
Beyond.
Infinity or beyond? Which do I want?
You want infinity. A good trick is to focus during daytime to something really, really far away on the horizon,
and leave it there. Put a mark.
Make a mark on your lens. There's also, you can use live view on your camera. Many boost the image so you can find a bright star or something and focus this way.
I love these images you provided because
complications.
They're all so emotional and moody and beautiful. And
from a composition point of view, this is interesting. The pictures that tend to work best for me are the ones that have an interesting foreground element, like a lighthouse, for example, the one you have on the screen right now. It just adds so much interest to a picture, or an interesting tree, or the one with a reflection with a little water, windmill. It's just it adds so much to the composition. Even mountains might be
just a foreground silhouette of mountains helps. Yeah, because just the stars by themselves is kind of cold. By the way, I noticed all of these are of the Milky Way. They're all of the same kind of diagonal.
They are.
I love that. I love that.
Well, the Milky Way is, if you're in a dark enough area, the Milky Way is a good thing to work on to try out. So to the smartphones, just a brief thing about smartphones. You can, with modern smartphones, get the Milky Way on a photo. You definitely want a tripod because you need to expose longer, like we're talking several seconds.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the night mode on your camera might cut it, but there are apps out there for long exposures. Make sure these can also save to RAW files, because a RAW file gives you more material in the editing. And then there's a technique called stacking, where you take multiple pictures in a series and then throw them into some special software, pretty involved stuff, but where you kind of tickle out the little light that's in each of the photos and put that together in a so-called stack, which will then reveal the Milky Way. So there's techniques that even work with a smartphone.
I think that's what Google's doing with their Pixel phones when they do night. They call it night sight, but they stack exposures to make it.
They do, but again, try it out. I'm not sure it's strong enough for the Milky Way.
Yeah, maybe not. Milky Way's not that strong, not that bright. Although it looks very bright in these pictures, which I guess is a testament.
The city. Go to a national park. That's a good choice for darker skies.
These are some of the best pictures. I just love. I want to print these and put them on my wall. They're fantastic. Chris Marquardt. Now, have you been getting any submissions for our assignment? Because this was a tough one.
We have part of the alphabet. People have found C, E, G, P, Q, S, T, V, X, Y, and Z, which means there's about half of the alphabet still missing. So
we want you to find images of alphabet letters appearing in nature. You don't want to pick a picture of a sign. This is in nature. And Chris is keeping track of this on our Flickr group, flickr.com, the Tech Guy group. There's a blog post there from Chris explaining what we're doing. It's a little complicated. And he's checking off the letters as we get them. So we want to get...
I'm very happy with what we have already.
I'm amazed. So we're halfway there. A couple more weeks, maybe we'll be all the way there. See what letters we need, then go out and look for hedges in the shape of the letter A or whatever, and see if you can find it. Then submit it to our Flickr group. What is the tag people should use?
TG Alphabet.
TG Alphabet. So tag it TG Alphabet. Submit it to the Tech Guy group. Renee Silverman, our moderator, will thank you. So will Chris and I. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be looking at the alphabet. Thanks to you. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Nice. I can't believe it. So your blog post made a difference, I guess. Got people out there.
Well, and I just added the letters that were still missing at this point. So, yeah, I might have to throw in a few like to fill it up. But I want a complete alphabet. One person submitted an entire alphabet. So
what?
We have like a composite of an entire alphabet there.
That's an enterprising fella. Wow.
I still want everyone to have fun with this, and people do have fun with this apparently.
Yeah,
so
it's a great idea. I love it. I thought it might be too hard, but maybe it's not. So that's good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
People are doing it. That's awesome. I'm just going to log into Flickr and show people what we've got so far here. Groups. Tech Guy.
Just go to flickr.com/group/techguy.
There's the group.
Has its own URL.
Here's the Chris's blog post, which is pinned to the top. Let me make this text bigger so you can see it. Wow, I can't believe how many we've got. That's great. So we still need A, B, D, F, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, R, U, V, and W. How exciting.
Oh, no, wait. V is already taken, so I just didn't remove this from...
Cross it off.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good to go.
Very nice.
We have a few duplicates as well. X's are simple to find. R's are apparently not that easy to find.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right, Chris. Thank you.
All right. Next week is the 4th. No, it's not. The 4th of July.
But 4th, we're not here. So take that week off.
Yeah, I will definitely celebrate that with you. So yeah, next week is a regular week.
Good. And then we'll take 2 weeks off. Yes, I know it's a little confusing for our non-American listeners because they go, well, what's so special about the 4th day of July?
Oh, you're taking 2 weeks off? So the 4th and the 11th?
No, I'll be here on the 11th. And I will be missing one weekend, which is the 18th. So I guess we should think about recording maybe. I don't know. What are we just we're just going to do a rerun, right, Laura? On those days? Yeah, so you don't have to record one. We'll just use an old Marquardt.
That's fine. I would probably not have been there on the 18th anyway.
Perfect.
I'm doing my first workshop this year.
Yes.
The first workshop in a year.
Yes. That's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, we're eating out. We're starting. Have you got your second shot yet or no?
Nope. Friday.
It's really like it's over here in California. People, we went to a restaurant last night. Nobody was wearing masks. It was amazing. It's incredible.
I'm still a little bit skeptical.
I know. No, it's funny. It's funny to watch. People are emerging very slowly, carefully, going, is it safe yet? Is it safe?
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's great.
Anyway.
Thank you, sir.
See you in a week.
Take care, Chris. Bye-bye. Makes me tear up every single time. Luther Vandross. If your dad's still around, call him. Say Happy Father's Day, right? Patrick on the line from Austin, Texas. Hey, Patrick. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello there. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing great. My father's deceased, but he was a Leo.
Oh, how nice.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the show you put on. Appreciate the answers we get from you.
Thank you.
I have a question here. I'm an Uber driver and Lyft driver out there, and I'm an AT&T customer.
Okay.
AT&T has a feature called Number Sync. Number Sync allows me to put my tablet in the car and sync it to my phone.
Right.
Very convenient.
Right.
I would like to know, since I'm trying to save some money, I would like to know if this type of feature, maybe on a different name, can I do this with other providers?
Not that I know of. This was kind of an interesting thing that AT&T came up with, and I really liked it. I have not seen others do it. Let me see if people in the chat room know. I think it's an AT&T exclusive. The idea is you can make calls basically from any device that can support it, which is like a lot of devices, including Amazon Echo devices, as long as that number is in your phone.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think that that's really, really cool. But as far as I know, I don't know of anybody else who's doing that. Now, it usually doesn't take long when one phone company comes up with something for others to do it. So maybe they're just watching and waiting.
This has been out for quite a while.
Yeah.
I've used it for several years now. It's not perfect because sometimes it falls off and the connection or the syncing is no longer available, so you have to call and beat up on them a little bit. But it's such a nice feature because I'm not trying to look at a tiny phone on the windshield. I have a nice big tablet in front of me. And that's
sure.
That's
I mean,
what I'm looking for.
The way that one of the reasons perhaps that Verizon and T-Mobile are not trying to duplicate this is because it's something that is offered by many devices. For instance, if you're all Apple, then you sync your contacts in the cloud, and your iPhone will be used by any Apple device to make a phone call. So in effect, they're doing it through hardware. When I get a phone call on my iPhone, my computer and my tablet both ring, and I can answer it anywhere. Similarly, I can make any outbound call, and it will use the cell phone to make that call, even if I'm on an iPad. But I take it you're not on an all Apple network.
I am not an Apple person
at all.
So
yeah.
The phone is a Pixel, and the tablet is a Samsung.
Yeah. It seems like that's the kind of thing Google should offer in some way, but as far as I know, they don't. It's definitely available on an Apple device. So, this is Apple's secret sauce: is it works better if you just only own Apple things, which I think is a little bit of a tough sell given how expensive Apple things are. But that's kind of what they've done all along, and it's a little harder, I would guess, for somebody like Google to do because. People who have Android might have, as you do, a Samsung device and a Google device and a LG device and an AT&T device and so forth and so on. Yeah. So the only one I know of is AT&T, and you're right, it's not perfect. It works better with an iPhone and an Apple iPad, but
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty reliable that way. But if you think about it, that makes sense because they're all kind of talking to one another easily.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd give it a try.
Keep listening. Somebody will call and let us know.
I'll do it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Oh yeah, I forgot about T-Mobile's digits. That's right. Let me look at that. I forgot they have that service. I don't think it's quite the same thing. All your numbers, one device. So lets its customers use the same phone number across multiple devices. Yeah, okay. So that's T-Mobile's Digits service. Digits can direct calls to a device like a second phone or even a PC. You don't have a SIM card on those. They've had that around for a while. They unveiled it in 2017. So, I guess the answer is T-Mobile does it as well. Does Verizon? I don't know. Thank you to the chat room. T-Mobile's digits. Lefty came up with that one. Patrick on the line from Austin. Oh, no, that was Patrick. This is Tom from Medina County, Ohio. Hello, Tom.
Hi, Leo. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Tom. Good to talk to you.
Was I the first person that said that?
No. No, although I'm still waiting to hear from my daughter. I've heard from my son, still waiting to hear from my daughter. See if she remembers.
That's good. I haven't heard from my boys. I heard from my daughter.
It's a nice feeling, isn't it? Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. Well, I first of all, I don't know I think around 93 or 94, in our cable system, it's in Medina County also. We had screensavers, and back then in those days.
That was the day, 1998 through 2004. I did a show called The Screensavers on Tech TV.
Okay, well.
So it was a little later.
I don't know when it started.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I had it at my old house.
Let me just put it this way. It was a long time ago, Tom.
Well, I'm getting pretty old.
As am I. You know what's great is I talk to people all the time, full adults, people in their 30s who say, I used to watch you when I was 11. And I go, oh, yeah, uh-huh.
I remember when I was 17, I was in this horn rock and roll band, and the other trumpet player was 23, and I really thought he was old when I was 17.
It's funny how your perspective changes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now I'm saying to 70-year-olds, that's not old. That's not old. That's not old.
Hey, I'm only 69.5.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not up there yet.
Exactly.
All right, well, I'm trying to help my daughter-in-law. She's got an old HP tower, and it says it's out of space. So I just want to go ahead and put a new hard drive in it, which is no problem for me.
Easy peasy, yeah.
But then I want to take and put that old hard drive in some kind of external box or a connector and get the data onto the new hard drive. But how do I get Windows 10 on a new hard drive in there when you know what I mean?
Yeah, easy. This is actually quite easy. There are a lot of ways to do that. Usually nowadays when you get a hard drive, almost always the hard drive manufacturer offers a bit-for-bit copy utility that you could just, on a tower, you can put the old hard drive and the new hard drive in the tower and copy one or the other, and you'll make a duplicate. I actually don't think that's the right way to go these days. I'd like to see something a little fresh.
She has Windows 7 Premium. I don't want to put that.
You want 10 on there. So the first thing to do, and I think it still works, haven't checked lately, but Microsoft never turned off the ability to freely upgrade 7 to 10.
Right.
So go ahead and upgrade it now unless there's so little room you can't.
I can't. There's no room.
That's what you really want to do. Let me think the best way to do this. You're going to get a nice big drive. Here's what you'll do. Move some stuff off her old drive. Put the second drive in now. It's a tower. You should have extra drive bays. Move stuff off of the old drives, just enough so that you can get 50 or 60 gigs to install Windows 10. Because here's the trick. Once you've installed Windows 10 on that computer, Microsoft makes a note of that, and it is forever entitled to Windows 10. You don't need a serial number or anything. So having done that, move some stuff off. You got to install Windows 10 on top of that Windows 7 system somehow.
Okay.
Then you own Windows 10 forever and after on that machine. Now you can take that old hard drive out. I would copy all the data to a third drive, and now you've got a backup, but you can do whatever you want. And then ideally, I think the right way to do this, instead of doing a bit-for-bit copy, which you could do a bit-for-bit copy, old drive to new giant drive. Now you have the space, upgrade that to Windows 10. I just think that that's not as good as having a clean install of Windows 10. But you know what? That might be the easiest way to do it.
Well, her computer acts like it's totally on its last leg.
Yeah. I think a fast SSD is going to make a remarkable difference. But that's maybe another reason why you don't want to make an exact copy of her old drive, because maybe that's one of the reasons it's slow, right? So there are a couple of ways to do it. The ideal is to get Windows 10 on there somehow first. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, let's see. So you could, Western Digital, Seagate, all the companies offer, you usually have to go to the website to get it now. They don't give it to you, but offer a bit-for-bit sector copy. So you can blast basically what's on the old drive onto the new drive. And it understands the new drive's bigger. It won't fill it up or partition it.
Right.
Then you might even be able to put the new drive in. This might work too. Put the new drive in, get the Windows 10 installer from Microsoft. It's free. And install Windows 10 on the new drive. And it may be able to see that you're running Windows 7. So
it might see the second drive.
It might say, "Oh, you got Windows 7, you're good." I'm not sure, but that's another possibility. That might be the easier thing to do, and then you can copy stuff over from the old drive onto the new drive, and you've got Windows 10 running on it.
Are you going to put that link for the Windows 10 that I would install on that?
I will. You can just Google, if you just want to, Microsoft Windows 10 Media Creation Tool, but I will put that in the show notes too for you.
Could you actually just put on your website? I need backup software for. I have Mac hardware, I have Windows 10 hardware, I have Android phones and iPhones. I want to buy software that I can back it up to all those devices onto an external drive, and that's what I'm looking for.
I think our sponsor iDrive might have something for you in that case.
Yeah, well, I plan on doing that. I mean, 90% off, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, what is that, 60 cents a month? I mean, it's like $15 for a year. You might as well just...
Don't I want to have it... you told me I needed to have it 2 different places.
It does that.
Put it on.
It does that. It'll do local and cloud.
Oh, it'll do both?
Yeah.
Well, on all my devices.
And it works on everything you got, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna
otherwise, if if you want to get fancy, go out and get a network attached storage device. You put it on the network, and everything that's on the network can back up to it. And then you've got one device that's got backups for all. And they're all. Sorry?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Would iDrive do that? Put it on the network storage device?
No. All the network attached storages come with their own software for doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But iDrive will back it up to a big. Actually, iDrive probably would do it to a network attached storage as long as you could mount it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try it.
So
I listen to you all the time.
Hey, I'm really glad you listen. Happy Father's Day, Tom.
Should I call you back? I got another question for the next time.
Oh yeah, you wanted to ask about something else. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted a link for. I shoot some video of like local loud rock and roll bands.
Oh, fun!
Is there a website that could help me learn how to do it? What cameras and all that good stuff?
Shooting video. What would I recommend for video production tutorials?
I don't think you do that. I don't think you do much of that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do a lot of tutorial stuff. It's a lot of work.
But you do photography stuff.
I do still. I don't do video, but we have videographers here. We certainly could do, a lot of our guys do video. Who's really good at it? My son is really good at it. But I think you want like a series, like there's certainly YouTube videos where you could, I think that's what I would do. Go to YouTube and search for the particular skills you're trying to, like lighting or which cameras, and you'll find a lot of videos, and pretty soon you'll find somebody that you think, this guy's got it. This is guys speaking my language, because there's probably 100 guys doing it, maybe 1,000.
Right.
But you got to find the one that works for you. So.
Okay.
All right. That's what I would do. Go to YouTube. That's a great resource for learning anything.
Well, you've really been a big help.
Hey, have a great day, Tom. Take care.
Thanks for helping me today.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Well, hey. How are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers and the internet, home theater, digital photography. We got your smartphones. We got your smart watches. We got all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number. 888-827-5536. We got some lines open right now. If you've been trying to get in, couldn't get in before, this would be a good time to call. 88. Everybody's out having brunch with dad and things like that. Maybe barbecuing. 88 Ask Leo website where, I say it all the time on the calls. Well, I'll put a link up there because a lot of times I can't go through a 20-step process on the radio, but we can put a link to to a place on the show notes that will have all those steps for you. And the show notes are free and open to all. TechGuyLabs.com. TechGuyLabs.com. Remember way back when, at the beginning of the pandemic, Apple and Google, I mean, I'm talking like March of last year, Apple and Google said, hey, we're going to put the contact tracing capability into our phones, and then the states can be put an app on there, and this is going to make it much more simple for you to keep track of your health, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm guessing you probably know this, but it didn't work. In fact, there was a recent study, MIT Technology Review, studied the use of exposure notification apps on phones, came up with the result that many of the apps are underutilized, misunderstood, not well trusted. Only maybe 10 or 12 states actually created these apps. Each state had to create its own app. In June of last year, a study said that 71% of Americans said they wouldn't want to use this app because of privacy issues. I talked to a lot of people who said, there's no way I'm using a contact tracing app. In May, Pew Research said few Americans believed contact tracing apps would help contain COVID-19. They were right, partly because they weren't used, partly because even if they were used, and Apple and Google both built in a lot of privacy, but that was part of the problem. They wouldn't be that useful because public health officials wouldn't have access to the information. There were many, many one-star reviews of the apps in the Google Play Store. The MIT Technology Review said many one-star reviewers appeared to misunderstand how their state app works, didn't trust in the technology, couldn't understand how the app fit into the broader public health system. And in fact, even those who used it, I don't know, I turned on the Apple contact tracer the minute I could. I thought, well, this will be great. I have never yet received a notification, ever. In almost a year of use, nothing. I'm just curious if you turned it on. This actually is a very good example, in my opinion, of a couple of things. First, the tech, community, Silicon Valley. Let's use that as the blanket phrase. Silicon Valley wants to be of use. They really do. And they leap in. And they have kind of a boundless faith in what technology can do. Like, it's going to cure everything. Remember Andrew Yang, who ran for president last cycle, was a technologist. He said, I've got the universal basic income. It's going to fix everything. It was very typical of the technology mindset that, we're smart. We can solve America's problems. And so back in last spring, a year ago, Google and Apple said, we're smart. We can solve this COVID thing. We're going to design it privacy first. It's going to be great. But then that boundless optimism hit the real world and nothing happened. And I think before you leap into bed with technology, you have to understand there is often a big gap between what Silicon Valley thinks it can do and what it really can do. And for those of us who live immersed in the bubbling pot of technology all the time, and I'm certainly one of them, it becomes pretty clear that it doesn't all work that well all the time. In fact, a lot of the time it doesn't work well at all. We just kind of we put up with it. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Dave's on the line from Greenville, Michigan. Hello, Dave. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Same to you, sir.
My question is about my Android devices. It seems a few months back, maybe even longer than that with COVID, I've lost track of time.
Have we all? This has been the weirdest year in history. Okay, yeah.
But it seems like the max volume on these devices was somehow changed, and I can't make things as loud as I used to.
Interesting.
When I first bought the devices.
That might be the case because they're trying to protect your hearing.
And I know my wife has an Apple tablet that she uses, and they can be much louder than my Android tablet can be.
That's interesting. Who made your Android tablet? You said it was a Google tablet?
Samsung tablet and a Samsung phone.
And in both cases, the volume level is low?
It's lower, I think, than it used to be when I crank up to max volume, to listen through the speakers.
Yeah, so there is, and it may be a setting in your Samsung, I'm not sure, but there is, they're trying to protect people's hearing. And one of the things we've started to realize is those headphones, if you're running them pretty loud, you could damage your hearing, especially if you're young. So a lot of these phones now, and I think Samsung did do this, have built-in limits, which you can override on how loud they can go. So I would go into the sound settings on your Samsung, and some of these, I remember on my Samsung, some of this stuff was kind of buried. There's at the very bottom of the sound settings, there's a thing called Adapt Sound that I really like that lets you modify the sound frequencies for hearing loss, and it really works well. There might be in there something to protect your hearing as well, and you might want to turn that off if you're concerned that you're not getting a lot of level.
Okay, I'll look for something like that.
I'm looking at an article that has how to improve the Android phone volume, and one of the suggestions is clean the lint out of your headphones. I don't think that's the problem, but but if you have lint, you might want to check. If you have lint, you want to clean that out. They also say, and this is an interesting workaround, is check there are third-party equalizer apps which can in fact improve the audio. That is one of the things I really like about Samsung is this Adapt Sound feature. And if you do the hearing test with it, it may be that you can have it boost the ranges that matter the most to you for your hearing. So it may even be just doing that. But they also recommend a equalizer called the Neutralizer from Javio, Javeo, which lets you turn up the sound as well. So that might be something worth trying. I suspect that what's happened really is that these companies are trying not to deafen you. And so the normal sound is turned down. But I do believe that you can disable that volume limiter. I think iPhone has the same thing. It might be worth taking a look. Nice to talk to you, David. Thank you. Appreciate the call. I feel like I've seen these settings to limit headphone. Yeah, see, in the iPhone, it's under headphone safety. Here you go. This is exactly what I was thinking about. So you go to Settings, Sounds and Haptics, Headphone Safety, and you can, to protect your hearing, your iPhone will measure headphone audio levels. If you exceed the recommended 7-day limit, a notification is sent and the volume is turned down. Talk about a nanny. Oh, you're listening too loud. I'm going to turn it down now. You can reduce loud sounds. There's even a little volume slider to decide. Mine's set for as loud as a heavy city traffic, as loud as a motorcycle, as loud as a car horn, as loud as an ambulance siren. But the default was 85 decibels. If you turn that off, though, it's not going to do that. So if something goes above 85 dB, then it will lower it. It's interesting. I don't have my Samsung here to look, but I suspect there's something very similar. Something very similar to that. He could swear, I declare. Well, you found that is the most unusual Father's Day song I've ever heard, Professor Laura, but thank you for finding that. She definitely went to the music library for that, dusted off some old record. Who's singing that? Oh, it's Gladys Knight. Are the Pips there, or were they on a coffee break? Oh, they're there. Okay. Sometimes I think Gladys would sneak in the studio late. Say, I don't want those pips on this one. Gary on the line from Acton, California, our next caller. Hi, Gary.
Hi, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Gary. How you doing?
Good. So I'm trying to, I enjoy watching motocross on TV.
Who doesn't, of course, as one does. Yes, yes.
Well, I have a program on my phone, Peacock.
Yes.
So it broadcasts all the motocrosses live and qualifying and all that
That's
stuff.
nice. That's NBC's streaming app. Yeah, Peacock.
Well, yeah, it used to be NBC Sports. Now it's Peacock.
That's right.
Anyways, at home, I have a Chromecast on the back of my big screen TV.
Yeah.
So I pull up Peacock on my phone, and I cast from my phone to the Chromecast.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that fantastic? Yeah.
So now I'm trying to go one step further, and I have a boat at Catalina, and I'm trying to sit on my boat and watch my motocross.
As one does.
I don't have, don't have Wi-Fi.
You need Wi-Fi. So that's how the Chromecast works. And you probably noted this, is your phone and the Chromecast device have to be on the same network, on the same Wi-Fi network.
Yes. So I got the public Catalina Wi-Fi, and it wasn't strong enough to do what I needed. And when I went down in the cabin of the boat, I lost it. And, of course, my Visa card got scammed the very next day.
Oh, Lord.
Get into my Wi-Fi.
Oh, my God. Well, that didn't work out so well, did it?
No, not at all.
Holy cow.
I ended up talking to some guy, and he was telling me that I could get a router, and there's an antenna on the top of the hill that I can point the router at, and it will make my own, I don't know what he called it, but my own, like, Wi-Fi in the boat, and I can do it that way.
Okay.
But other people are telling me just get a hotspot. And
well, I suspect that's what that thing is a hotspot. What's the antenna? Who owns the antenna up on the hill?
See, and that was my question. I got a router and pointed up there. Someone's going to charge me to use their service, I was thinking.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
So, yes.
So there is a way to use the Chromecast. I didn't know this, but thank you to Scooter X in the chat room. There is a way to use your Chromecast without Wi-Fi. And yeah, this is now you need a newer Chromecast. The newer ones actually have their own Wi-Fi built in. And the reason they do this is so if you have a guest in the house who's not on your network, they can still cast to it. It broadcasts a PIN via an audio signal at an inaudible frequency. You enter that PIN. So what you want to do is see if you have guest mode on your Chromecast. If it's a recent model Chromecast, you probably do. So you open the Google Home app, and you go to the Chromecast that you want to access. You look at the settings.
On my phone.
Yeah, the Home app on your phone, yeah. Do this while you're connected to the Chromecast. Would be the easiest. And while you're still at home, not
to it because
not in Catalina. You're not in Catalina yet, though, right?
Not yet. No.
Yeah. Okay. So do that now. Go down to the device settings. You want to enable guest mode. So if you have a newer Chromecast, I did not know this. This is actually a really good tip. Thank you for stimulating this research. If you have a late model Chromecast, you'll see a guest mode in the device settings, and there'll be a PIN. It'll say what the PIN is, 1, 2, 3, 4. So turn on guest mode if it's not on. That generates the PIN. And then you can take your Android device and you can cast your Chromecast. It'll say, well, you're not on Wi-Fi, but I see one that has a guest mode turned on. What's the PIN? You enter the PIN, and suddenly motocross happens.
It's an Apple phone, if that makes any difference.
I don't think it does. I'm going to put a link at techguylabs.com to this wonderful article that our chat room found. This is completely news to me. This is something they've added lately to the Chromecast. You don't have to use... I thought... You know what this is great for, too, is if you go to a hotel and you want to... I'm going to bring my Chromecast with me now because I can use the guest mode and I can stream to it without us being on the same Wi-Fi. Now, I think your Chromecast is going to have to get online somehow. So that's going to be an interesting issue because you have to stream.
Yeah.
So let me see here. So maybe that's
hotspot.
yeah.
I gotta
use the
go to
so
Verizon and get it turned on.
yeah. Yeah, just connect. Yeah, connect to the hotspot. Yeah, I don't know why they say use a Chromecast without Wi-Fi. You don't have to be on the same network, I guess is the point. But you still need some sort of Wi-Fi because the Chromecast has to get the peacock from somewhere. Peacock's not just floating in the air. Maybe you get it from that antenna up on the hill. I don't know. I'm going to guess that antenna the guy's talking about is a cellular antenna, and he's just talking about using a hotspot, which you already have.
Maybe. The thing about Peacock is I could hook a cable to my phone to the TV.
Yeah.
But it only does audio, and Peacock put a stop on the video.
Oh, that's so annoying. You know, these guys, they do it. I don't know why they do that. Quibi did that too, and it put them out of business. They said, oh, you can't stream it on a TV. You have to watch on the phone. Why? What do you care what I'm watching on?
Something up wrong, but it wasn't me. It was them.
Yeah. No, that's very common. Especially common among, the old school Hollywood types, NBC, that type. They're scared of all this new technology. They don't want to let people do anything they want. That way leads chaos. We can't allow that. You can only listen. You can't watch. You kids today, if you could, you'd just rob us blind. So I guess that's their. I don't know what their rationale is. Because what do they want to insist you watch on your phone? What do they care?
Yeah, that's right. You have their program, so it shouldn't matter.
You'd think. It is a free service. They want you to pay ultimately, but it's a free service. So, hey, yeah. So give that a try. You'll need your access point. Turn that on. You'll need to connect the Chromecast to that, just so you have internet. It might actually work with the Yacht Harbor's internet, at least just for streaming. The main point is your phone doesn't have to be on that Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We'll work that out. I'll make it work. Thanks.
This way you get the best of both worlds. You get the beautiful Catalina Island, the water, the seagulls, and motocross all together.
That's it.
It's Father's Day. You should do whatever you want, Gary.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Have a great day. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Normally, Rod Pyle would join us from his boat. But he's not. He's a little under the weather, the Rocket Man. So no Rocket Man. Well, just more calls right after this. Yeah, I just actually ordered a new. I know, isn't that great? A new Roku, because I realized that my Roku is like 6 years old. I got the Roku Ultra when it first came out. I love animated GIFs. Da 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 da. Well, I had an Ultra, so they do say, 2020 model, 2021 model, so clearly they've updated it somehow. Yeah, I do use Ethernet with my Rokus, absolutely. All my streaming TV stuff uses Ethernet. Now that we have Ethernet in the wall, and I actually put drops in by all the TVs, all three TVs, so. Actually, more than three. Good Lord, there's something wrong with this. We have TV in the bedroom, which we swore we'd never do, but we can't see it in bed, so I guess that's not quite the same thing. We can't lie in bed and watch TV. We have to sit on a couch and watch TV, but it is in the bedroom. We did that so our teenage boy we could like go into the bedroom, close the door, and he wouldn't be, he could have the run of the house, which he sometimes wants. We have TV in the living room. I have a TV in my office. Lisa has a TV in her office. There's a TV in the gym. I think that's it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and Michael has a TV in his game room, but he doesn't use it as a TV, but he could. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good Lord. This is a guilt-inducing song by the late Harry Chapin. I always feel terrible when I hear it. Did I do that to my son? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Travis from Rector, Arkansas. Hi, Travis. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Travis. What's up?
We're a 6-year-old granddaughter.
Oh.
And we got 4, my wife does. And we want to know what she's watching on this pad that came with it.
Oh, yeah, because, she's not up to no good, but she's 4, so that means, well, how old is she?
She's 6, man, and
6.
she is up to no good, baby,
No, I think you're safe. Yep. So you want to monitor her use of the tablet. Is it a Samsung tablet?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's using a tablet. You've got a Note 4. And what you're hoping is that somehow on the Note 4 you could see what your daughter's doing on the tablet, your granddaughter's doing on the tablet.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think you can actually see what she's doing. There are parental controls that you can say, hey, you can only do this. In fact, one of the nice things about Android is you can say, she's going to let her run. You can pin an app in effect. In fact, I even think they call it pinning an app, where she can only use that one program. Is that kind of what you'd like her to do, or you just want to kind of monitor everything she's doing?
Yeah, well, that would work too, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's better to do that. I don't know of a way you can monitor everything she's doing. And who has time, right? That would mean you'd have to sit there and watch Phineas and Ferb for the next 5 hours. That's no fun. So take a look at the parental controls. You can go into that. You do it on the tablet, and you can go in there and you can say what she can do, what she can't do. And I think that's anybody gives any smart device to a child should absolutely do this. You don't need to buy third-party software. Android has it all built in. It's in the settings, family, parental controls. You can set a pin so she can't buy stuff. I haven't used it lately because my children are 26 and 29, so I haven't had to monitor their usage in a few years. But I think you can even. Pardon me?
Ours are grown.
Yeah, of course. It's your grandkids now. I'm gonna as soon as my kids have grandkids, I'm gonna have to learn all this stuff all over again.
Yeah, that's right.
When our kids were growing up, this wasn't a problem. Now, now they can do anything online. So, yeah, I think among other things, you'd want to say only you can use these apps. You can set a maturity level for videos on YouTube and other places that they can see, that kind of thing. I think that's going to be what you really want to do. Otherwise, you'd have to sit and watch the screen the whole time. You don't want to do that, Travis. Life is too short to watch 5 hours of Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, I just don't want her watching all this junk,
Yeah, well, I would suggest turning off YouTube. There is a YouTube for kids that's okay. So what you could download the YouTube for Kids app, which is a separate app from the regular YouTube app, and don't let her use the YouTube app. Lock that on the parental controls and let her watch YouTube for Kids. And that's designed. In fact, I think there's even parental controls within that, and you can say, I only want her to see stuff that's appropriate for 6-year-olds, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, YouTube for Kids is much better. I agree with you 100%. No 6-year-old should have unfettered access to YouTube.
I don't want her to have a wolf brain before it's time.
No, yeah, that's right. She's innocent and sweet. Let her stay that way. So they have different age ranges. There's one from 5 to 7. So she can only see videos that were appropriate for 5 to 7-year-olds. I think that'd be just right.
Great.
Hey, it's nice to talk to you and your wife, I think. Yes? Is Grandma on the line too? Hi, guys.
Yeah, okay.
Have fun with your sweet 6-year-old. I bet she's a doll. Yeah. All right. She's a handful. Yeah. Well, it's a good age anyway. Nice to talk to you. Yeah. And you can do the same thing on the Note 4. There might be times you're at a restaurant or somewhere and she's bored, and you can give her the Note 4 as well. So those parental controls are built into Android. Both iPhone and Android have pretty good parental controls. And honestly, monitoring what she's doing, you don't want to watch Baby Shark over and over and over and over. Cisco from New Mexico. Hi, Cisco.
Hi, Leo. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. What can I do for you?
Where can I find honest answers about cryptocurrency, and what will Mt. Gox?
Oh, boy, this is a great question. So first of all, a lot of people talking about crypto are trying to sell you something, aren't they? I'm starting to see ads for cryptocurrency on CNN now, and it makes me nervous because if they can afford to buy an ad on network television, they're making money somehow. So I would take everything with a grain of salt. Mt. Gox is an excellent example of what you don't want. So essentially what cryptocurrency is, let's see if I can do this in a minute and 45 seconds, is it's like the dollar bill, but it's not backed by a government. It's generated by computers. And the idea is it's a decentralized, non-governmental currency that you could use to buy things, or what most people do, speculate. Buy it low, sell it high. And with Bitcoin going up and down like a yo-yo, as high as $50,000 a coin, lots of people have made money off of it by speculating on it. I think that's a risky thing to do. There's other coins, cryptocurrencies like Dogecoin and Ethereum. Mt. Gox was a Bitcoin exchange. The idea is somebody holding your Bitcoin like a bank might for you. Otherwise, you have to hold your wallet yourself. But the idea with Mt. Gox is you give them your wallet and they manage your Bitcoin for you, and they allow you to trade in dollars for Bitcoin and trade Bitcoin for other currencies, things like that. The only problem is it disappeared in 2014, taking all the Bitcoin it had with it. $450 million at the time. Some of that coin has been found since, but there's the problem. Therein lies the problem. If you're going to get involved in Bitcoin, Coinbase is a modern version of Mt. Gox, probably more honest. Even Robinhood now is selling cryptocurrencies, although Robinhood I don't think actually buys the cryptocurrency. They just, in effect, let you buy an imaginary share and give you the difference if it goes up. I would suggest making your own wallet, keeping your cryptocurrency to yourself. But then that makes it a little bit more difficult to trade. So it's tricky, I guess, is the answer. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Baby Shark has 8.8 billion views, says Mike B. So, I think that cryptocurrency is ripe for fraud. So oh, he's gone. Well, I'm talking to myself. So I just ask anyone who's lost everything. But I can understand the interest in it. The promise of it is a decentralized, non-governmental currency that is, in theory, anonymous. There's certainly some good that's come out of Bitcoin, but I think you can also point out lots of bad things that have happened to Bitcoin. For one thing, it's a massive user of energy, and so it's probably not a great way to generate currency during this time of climate crisis. So that's problem number one. A lot of people have made a lot of money on Bitcoin, but that's only because others have lost money on Bitcoin. It's very volatile. I think that's really one of the problems. It certainly means it's possible to make money if your timing is good, but I don't know how you would time it. It's because it's not tied to anything particular. And I think the biggest downside to cryptocurrency is ransomware. Ransomware didn't really take off until Bitcoin became widely used and widely understood. And at that point, ransomware hackers had an easy and anonymous way to get you to pay them millions of dollars. And that's when it took off like crazy. That's really when it went through the roof. That's a good dad joke from the Discord. A boy asked his Bitcoin investing dad for 1 Bitcoin for his birthday. His dad replied, "What? $15,554? $14,354 is a lot of money. What do you need $16,782 for anyway?" Oh, that's good. That's a good one. from @DadSaysJokes. Bitcoin is and isn't traceable. It's only traceable if somebody at some point tells you what his account number is. You know, but of course, if you use Coinbase, it's absolutely traceable. Because then, you know, Coinbase asks you for all sorts of proof of identity, which is tied to your Bitcoin account. I would guess that the ransomware hackers at DarkSide and elsewhere have not associated their real life name with their Bitcoin account. They don't make them like my daddy anymore. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That's fun. Thank you. Big thanks to Professor Laura, our musical director, for finding a bunch of interesting, unusual, and fun Father's Day tunes for us. I am a devoted coffee achiever, and so is this guy from Miami. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Coffee himself, Chris. Hello, Chris. How many cups in are we? So I know what to expect today. He can't get a word out. He's so hyped up. All right, take a deep breath. It's just coffee.
You so have my number. So funny.
Well, what is your number today? 6, 7, 8, 9?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was in 4 cups when I was on the phone with Miss Kim a little while ago. I am now beginning the 5th cup.
Well, that's not bad.
I'm on the call with you.
That's
not bad.
Have you developed a coffee tolerance?
For the coffee that I drink, you don't really need tolerance. You just keep drinking.
You know, I remember in the old days, you know, my grandma and others would get a percolator, and big old percolator, I don't know how many, 64 ounces, and they'd percolate coffee in the morning and just drink it all day.
Yeah.
It was kind of weak, though. I mean, but nevertheless, I'm only on my 2nd cup, Chris, so you'll have to.
I saw that.
You'll have to talk slowly.
You have there.
Yeah, it's a screensavers mug. Well, the guy mentioned the old TV show, and I thought, well, let's break out the old TV show mug. So what's up, Chris?
Well, I'm going to update you on a couple of things, and I wanted to quickly talk about network issues that I'm having again. So we ended up, my friend here had his birthday. So what I did is I went out and I got him the iPad Pro 11 Space Gray with the folio.
You like this guy. Holy cow, that's a nice gift.
It is. Yeah, I can't use it either, so it's okay. I'll buy. Well, I want the 12.9, but here's the thing.
I like I have the 12.9. I've had a 12.9 since the Pros came out. It's big. It's the size of a laptop screen. And so I like it for that reason. But I'm starting to look at the 11 with kind of some interest. Micah Sargent, who does our iPad show, iOS Today.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I love him. He used an 11-inch for years, and I noticed he got a 12.9 this time around. I think perhaps because it's the first Apple device to use this new mini LED display technology. I don't notice a huge difference, I'll be honest.
Well, they're not available for 1 month now going out, so you can't get one.
Wow.
Nobody. Yeah. That's wow. Unless someone in the chat room, like Scooter X or others, or, someone might know something I know, but...
No, I think you're right. It's because these... In fact, I think that's why Apple last week, we thought they were going to announce 2 new laptops with this mini LED technology, and it's actually my thinking that that's why they didn't. We've heard that they're having trouble with the yields, which means that when they're making these panels, a lot of them are coming out unacceptably damaged, more than a few pixels missing, that kind of thing. Apple does not want to ship iPads with bad pixels, so.
No. But I have the number sync, though, that fella talked about, but it works better if you have Apple. I have my iPhone and my Apple Watch, and it works seamless, but you need Apple products.
Are you using AT&T's number sync, or are you using Apple's capability?
I'm using AT&T.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. See, I've never, I haven't, really well. I didn't set up AT&T's number sync. I just use Apple's built-in, I think they call it continuity, where a phone call when my phone rings, it rings everywhere, which can be a little annoying. And then I can pick it up anywhere. And I like that feature. I think that's great. Plus, any outbound call I make on my Mac or my iPad is in effect using my cell phone. So that's cool too. Yeah.
Which is really good. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, I am I tried, a friend of mine offered me the Eero. We gave it a little bit of a try, but I remember you had a call a couple of weeks ago with this fellow who lived in the house, and apparently the house that he lived in had really, really tough Wi-Fi issues. And I live in a condo, floor corner pocket.
Everybody who has bad Wi-Fi calls me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you listen to this show, you would say this is an example of how anecdotal evidence is not useful. If you listen to this show, you'd say, "Well, I'm never getting Wi-Fi. It never works." But of course, it works for most people. But I hear from everybody for whom it doesn't. So your condo, does it have metal in the walls?
No, I mean it. Okay, I'm not. Well, obviously, I'm not going to lie to you, but I mean it works. It works really good, but it could work better.
Well, internet could always be faster. No one ever said my internet's too fast.
Right.
How fast is it?
In my head. Well, I mean, on the 5G E, I can get upwards of over 100, but when I put it back on Wi-Fi, it drops down to under 40.
Yeah, that's pretty slow. Generally, my rule of thumb for Wi-Fi is it should be at least half as fast as wired.
Okay. Then I have a ways to go then.
Yeah, 40 is really low. What does your internet service provider give you? What do you get from the condo?
Well, right now I'm using with AT&T Uverse. I've got 50, but that's not fiber. They don't have fiber over here, so I'm thinking maybe go with...
Well, if you only have 50 from Uverse, you're not going to get more than that on your Wi-Fi.
Okay, so I got up the ante really quick.
Yeah, I'm confused. If you're getting 40 and you're paying for 50, you're doing great.
Okay, well, not great enough for Christopher then. I need more coffee.
Yes. People who drink a lot of coffee generally want faster Wi-Fi would be my suggestion. Right? There seems to be a connection. My wife, I'll be honest, my wife is kind of like you, Chris. I know you've talked to Lisa. She moves fast.
Not enough. I like her a lot. She's terrific.
Great. I know. I adore her. But no computer is ever fast enough for her. Whenever we're buying her a new computer, she says, "Give me the fastest they make." And I say, "Honey, that's going to cost a lot of money." I don't care, because they're never fast enough for her. Now, I don't know if that's because she's a coffee achiever or just because her mind works fast, which it does. But I'm a little bit of a oop-de-doop. And I don't mind if it takes a little bit, that's half a second for a page to load, but she's very, you guys are kind of impatient, I think.
I know, but you know what? I love Lisa a lot, but I've always said this, that I love you just the way you are, because I think you're absolutely terrific. And I don't want to go down that road.
Don't go down that road, Chris. Don't go down that road. You'll end up sending me an 11-inch iPad, and I can't accept it. I can't accept it. Chris, I got to run. We're running out of time. It's always a pleasure. Talk to Chris from Miami. He's a coffee achiever. There's no question about that. Thanks so much to Professor Laura, our musical director, for playing all those great Father's Day tunes, making me cry more than once. Thanks to Kim Schaffer. She's the phone angel, puts your calls on the air. We appreciate it. Go home to your dad and give him a big hug and a smooch for Father's Day. Most of all, I want to thank you all for spending your day with me, your summer solstice, your Father's Day, your Prime Day Eve with me, your tech guy. Couldn't do it without you, and I sure like doing this, so thank you. Remember, everything you hear on the show ends up on the website, techguylabs.com, so that's free. There's no sign-up. You just wander on in. There's a pretty good search there, too, so if you heard something on the show today or you want to know something, just go on over to techguylabs.com. We even put audio and video from the show there later. So if you miss a show, don't worry. It's all there. techguylabs.com. I'm going to go spend a Father's Day, watching motocross at Catalina, I guess. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, TWiT. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.